Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world one book at a time. Now, in José Saramago's Blindness, what collapses isn't really law and order. It's something way more fundamental. He shows us that when our shared perception of reality fails, everything else we rely on, our infrastructure, our resources, well, it all just becomes meaningless.
Saramago kicks off his novel with this powerful command, and it really sets the stage for a terrifying thought experiment. See, his argument is that it's not our roads or our governments that are the first to go in a crisis. Nope, it's the shared perception, that common ground of simply seeing the same world that allows a society to function at all. You take that away, everything else is just noise.
So this gets us to the absolute heart of our analysis today. What actually happens when the very basis of our shared reality just disappears? I'm not talking gradually either. I mean, overnight. So let's dive into this setup. Okay, we're going to treat this book less like a story and more like a controlled experiment. It's designed to show us what happens to a complex system under the most extreme stress imaginable. Saramago basically strips away all the non-essentials to get right to the core of how a society works and, how it breaks. The whole premise is just shockingly simple. It all starts with a guy in his car on a totally normal day in a totally normal city. And then, bam! Without any warning, his entire world dissolves into a sea of white. All he can do is repeat those three words, completely unable to process what's happening to him. And this is just the beginning. It's the start of a sudden, inexplicable epidemic, what the book calls the white sickness, and it spreads with terrifying speed.
Now, the nature of this blindness is absolutely key. It's not darkness, it's a milky sea, an overwhelming, luminous whiteness. So think about that. This isn't just the absence of sight, it's the complete erasure of the world. It's a total loss of all your external reference points, leaving people more isolated than darkness ever could.
And here Saramago makes a really crucial choice. None of the characters are given any names. They're just the doctor's wife, the girl with dark glasses. And that's because this isn't about individual psychology. It's an ethical analysis of an entire system. It focuses on how these roles function, or more often fail to function, when society completely breaks down.
So this brings us right to the core insight of the entire book. Saramago is about to show us, in brutal detail, how the failure of perception makes traditional systems of control, laws, government orders, completely and utterly useless.
So, faced with a crisis it can't possibly understand, what does the government do? It imposes rigid, top-down rules. The blind are rounded up and thrown into an abandoned asylum. And these rules, they're just barked over a loudspeaker, totally impersonal, absolute, and designed to contain the problem through force and isolation.
But of course, inside the quarantine, these rules are meaningless. They're just words. It can't be enforced by guards who are terrified, and they sure can't be followed by people who, because they can't see, lack the most basic ability to coordinate. The so-called official order just immediately collapses into filth and chaos. It proves that rules alone are absolutely powerless.
So here's the crucial point, the big takeaway. Civilization isn't held together by laws written in a book. It's held together by our shared ability to see the world in a more or less similar way, to agree on basic realities. The second that shared perception disappears, the rules just become arbitrary marks on a page. And guess what fills that void? Raw power.
The book lays out this really clear, systemic pattern of collapse. It's like a chain reaction. It all starts when shared perception fails. Then, without it, basic coordination, simple things like finding the bathroom or handing out food, becomes impossible. When coordination breaks down, trust just evaporates. And in a world with zero trust, ethics and morality crumble into a brutal fight for survival. It's a terrifyingly logical sequence, isn't it?
To help us really get our heads around this systemic collapse, Saramago gives us this one single, incredibly powerful metaphor that shows us the consequences on a massive scale.
This is the key image right here. A system without shared perception is like a person walking with their eyes closed. Sure, the individual parts might still be moving. Legs are stepping, arms are swinging, but there's no direction, no purpose. All those individual actions, without a shared reality to guide them, just add up to collective chaos.
And this quote just illustrates the metaphor in action perfectly. The city is littered with abandoned cars. Every single driver made an individual choice to just stop when they went blind. But what's the collective result? Total, absolute gridlock. A perfectly functional system, the road network, is rendered completely useless because the people inside it just can't coordinate anymore.
So ultimately, Saramago completely reframes what a crisis truly is. The real horror in blindness isn't the physical affliction. The ultimate catastrophe is the loss of a shared world. It's the collapse of that invisible network of trust and mutual understanding that we all depend on every single day without even noticing.
And that leaves us with a final, pretty provocative question. Saramago's book, you see, isn't just a story about blindness. It's really an allegory about seeing. It forces us to ask ourselves, what is it that actually holds our own shared world together? And what is our individual responsibility for maintaining the reality we all agree to see?
For the full, long-form, deep dive into this book and its ideas, follow the link in the description. If you enjoy this kind of systems-level analysis, please like, subscribe, and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.